and drive them out of this earth.
So President Trump today making the case to Muslim leaders to share the burden in the fight against terrorism. I want to bring in now Howard Dean, former governor of Vermont and former DNC chair and MSNBC contributor. Also with us is Ron Nehring, former national spokesperson for Ted Cruz. Gentlemen, it's great to have you with me. And Ron, let me begin with you. You're in Jerusalem, and we are witnessing President on the road, this big international affair, and these are the states of Trump. Today was a toned-down, conciliatory version of the president. Do you think the base back here at home is going to be happy with that speech?
I think the base of the Republican Party will continue to stick with President Trump, especially on this question, because this speech really was extremely well done. The speech was well informed. He was very, very articulate, clear, bold, especially when it came to singling out Iran and the destructive role that country plays in the region, and then also challenging these Arab countries to step up further with the United States as a partner, but not telling them exactly what to do or micromanaging their own countries. So I think it was very strong, and the base will support him.
Howard, how do you think, is this a witness of H.R. McMaster winning out about the language of radical Islamic terrorism not being used, and a higher-minded presidential speech?
Well, by Trump's own standard, it's his. I'd say it was his appearance in Saudi Arabia was a failure because he bowed to the king, and Melania didn't wear a headscarf. That's by Trump's standards. Fortunately for Trump, most of us don't apply his own standards to his behavior. I think Ron's right. I think his base will be fine with it, because his base would be fine if, as he once said, if he went out and shot people on Fifth Avenue, his base would be fine. For the rest of us, I don't think, foreign trips are always good for presidents, or almost always good, unless you faint or throw up, but which he hasn't done yet. But then he's got to come. He's got James Comey to deal with when he gets home, and I think the foreign stuff is all going to be forgotten.
Yeah, faint, throw up, or you get a shoe thrown at your head. I think those three are really bad.
That's right. That wasn't good either, yeah.
If we switch gears a little bit, because we have so many headlines that President Trump and his team will face when they get home, based on the Russia investigation. A lot of people were making the rounds today on the Sunday talk shows, and Senator John McCain was asked specifically about that investigation and the appointment this week of Robert Mueller with some advice for the president. Take a listen.
We're now, with the appointment of Mr. Mueller, we're now at that stage of a scandal. And now the question is, how is it handled? Is it handled the way Watergate was, where it drip, drip, drip out every day, more and more? Or do we handle it like Ronald Reagan handled Iran-Contra? It's a scandal. He fired people. He went on national television and said, we made mistakes, we did wrong, and we're not going to do it again. And American people let him move forward.
So, Ron, do you think the president can move out of his own way on this and let it play out and the facts lead us where they may?
Well, certainly anyone's ability to predict Donald Trump, is anyone who claims to be able to predict the president's actions doesn't have a very good credibility. He's defied expectations at every stage along the way and won the Republican nomination and won the presidency. That being said, I do think that the appointment of the special counsel in this case is a very, very good development, because whenever you're in a mode like this, you want to get this behind you as quickly as possible. And someone like Robert Mueller being appointed, who has a tremendous amount of respect in Washington, D.C., is going to help move that forward. And that's a positive thing. I think the congressional investigation should move forward as quickly as possible and get to the bottom of everything involved here, so that the president can move on and Republicans can move on to implementing the agenda that we promised the American people: tax reform, repealing and replacing Obamacare, securing the southern border. For every week that this issue dominates the headlines, it's another week where the case is not being made publicly for these very, very important reforms. And Congress is never going to move forward all the way to the to the goal line here on these issues unless the power of the presidency is harnessed to mobilize the American people to pressure their members of Congress and senators and the like to move forward on this agenda. So I'm in favor of anything that moves this to its conclusion as quickly as possible.
And so, Governor, I know Ron just said that predicting Trump's actions are a big mistake, but Tony Schwartz, who wrote The Art of the Deal, said everything about Trump was predictable. And he said, early on, I recognized that Trump's sense of self-worth is forever at risk. When he feels aggrieved, he reacts impulsively and defensively, constructing a self-justifying story that doesn't depend on facts and always directs the blame to others. Do you think that he can get out of the way of the Russia investigation, is saying, to try to take on agenda items.
No, you know, Donald Trump is not Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was a confident, really quite a leader, whether you agreed with him or not. I think most people believe that he was a good president. And I think the weaknesses that Tony Schwartz talks about are exactly right. I think Trump, he's 70 some odd years old. He's just not going to change after all this time. So unfortunately for him, I actually agree with Ron again. I'm shocked twice in one program, but I do think the special prosecutor will begin to...
We call that progress, Howard.
Well, I'm waiting for you to agree with me on health care, although it may be a long wait.
We don't have enough time in the show for that, gentlemen.
That's a long wait.
Yeah, we don't have enough time left in this hour.
Don't hold your breath.
But Howard, I'll give you the last word.
Anyway, the bottom line is, I'm sorry, which one of us gets the last word?
Howard
Ron or
Dean.
me?
Howard.
Okay. I think the bottom line is Ron is correct about the special prosecutor, because this gets it out of the realm of innuendo. There will still be a lot of leaks, though, and Trump's not likely to react well to those. I think Mueller is a risk for Trump. It is true that it's possible to get this off the front page, but it's also more likely that more leaks happen, more bad stuff comes up, and that Mueller actually finds something with credibility that the Democrats don't have because they're in the opposition.
Gentlemen, we will leave it right there. Thank you very much for your time. Ron, safe travels back from Jerusalem. Governor Dean, great to see you. Thank you, sir.